for us tonight?
Well, tonight we begin our series on the disappearance and murder of Ruby Stapleton, a professor at Harding College in Searcy, Arkansas. The last time Ruby was seen alive, she was washing clothes at a laundromat on the night of October 8th, 1963. Her nude body was found 2 weeks later, 15 miles away. Although there are many theories and people suspected of being involved, her case remains unsolved to this day. I tried to channel my inner Robert Stack there.
That works.
Ever since the Earth has circled the Sun, there have been fantastic tales of wonder and mystery that the fate of heart dare not discuss. But 3 brave, uninformed souls have the brass to tackle every extraordinary happenstance, from the modern age to the dawn of Mantis.
Welcome back to Dawn of Mantis, true crime, mysteries, and more. I'm Ivan with Joe and Sam. I almost said Joe and Sam. That would have been tragic.
What's wrong?
Anyway, how are you guys tonight?
Doing good.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. We just got done with, I'll break the fourth wall a little bit. We just got done with some Thanksgiving shenanigans.
Yes.
Yeah, that was an amazing week. How was your week, guys?
Mine was great.
Same here. Can't complain.
You guys do the cranberry sauce out of the can, or do you actually go to the trouble of getting the
I don't like the cranberry sauce shaped like the can.
You don't like it shaped like the can?
No, and I got to have some cranberries in there.
I actually like it shaped like the can. There's something about it that's really cool. I'm like, don't mess with it. I like it to have that shape. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's tradition. Actually is better tasting. You're right.
Yes.
If someone's actually really done their due diligence to make it correctly. But I like that. I like seeing those ribs of the can. That's like innovation, you know. That cans have saved a lot of lives.
I don't like my cranberry sauce to look like it came from the same can as a dog.
Oh, okay. Different can, but same technology, I guess. So you're right.
The same shape as Bolo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. It's just, to me, it's kind of an art thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of a shimmer to it.
I've got class.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm just celebrating the innovation. That's what I'm doing. Celebration of
That's
innovation.
one way to look at it. And Sam's
right.
like, oh, no. I
Joe,
can't
are you
eat
somewhere in
anything
the
from a
middle of
can.
this
I don't like
debate?
cranberry sauce. I'm out of it.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I'm over here just eating the green bean casserole, and that's it, baby.
Sam, we found our common enemy.
Well, and
He
I
just
don't
doesn't it
I don't
anyway.
really care for green bean casserole.
Oh,
so.
am I the third wheel now in this?
Well, I'll eat it. It's not my favorite, but I'll eat it. It's just one of those things that's kind of like, But I do like sweet potato casserole because that's basically a dessert that you can have.
I'd like to say here that sweet potato casserole or sweet potato or anything sucks a load of ass.
Oh, you don't
and
like
green
that
bean
either?
casserole is the shiz. No, so I don't even know if I want to be friends with you guys anymore.
Okay.
You don't like the sweet potatoes?
House
the
divided.
The mashed sweet potatoes with the mini marshmallows.
I'm about to throw up in your
crusted
studio.
on top.
And it's kind of like brown just a little bit.
Yes.
One year Jennifer caught it on fire. It was an amazing thing.
Caramelized.
But, it sounds like every time we zig, this guy zags,
I
Sam.
don't know what the deal is.
He's a zagger.
It's dynamics like that make this podcast successful.
That's right. That's right. So, what do you like? 417-4 Mantis cranberry sauce out of a can or fresh? Do you like the green bean casserole? Do you like the sweet potato casserole?
These are the issues that matter in 2024 at the end of it there.
Yeah. Somebody told me about taking the leftover stuffing and putting that thing in a waffle iron and, you know, toasting that, putting gravy on it. I was going to try it, but we didn't have any leftover. But that sounds pretty amazing.
I'll mainline stuffing in any variety. I don't care how.
I like all types of stuffing.
Me too.
I'm with you.
I'm
on
down
that.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah, even out of that cavity of the turkey, I'll eat it out of that too. I don't even mind.
Out of the turkey's anus.
Yeah, that's right.
I eat it however I can get it.
It's technically not, but you know.
Hey, I had a fantastic. It's actually been a couple weeks since we've been in studio, right?
Okay, it has been.
We had stuff to do. We recorded extra episodes. I would like to say in the interim, I went around. I bumped into a few people that listen to the podcast.
Oh, go.
I just want to give a shout out to Urban Fringe.
Yes.
The girls there are amazing. My wife and I we took our 7-year-old there, and my wife and our 7-year-old got their hair cut, and it was amazing. Emma Kate cut their hair.
Okay.
And they're all listeners. I got to meet Janet. I took a picture with her. They're big fans of the podcast, so we'd like to say, hi, girls. We love you. And I think they posted the picture of her and I, and really said some wonderful things about the podcast.
Yeah, Farmington, Arkansas. If you want to go out and get your hair did,
there you go.
Right? Is that how you
That's
say it?
the place to do it.
It sounds like it.
It
sounds
is.
like they're cool people.
Yeah.
And what do they have our podcast playing in the background sometimes?
Quite
Is
a
that what
bit.
They, say?
They listen to it a lot. If I had hair, I'd go there. That's my slogan. I don't though. But
That even rhymes. If I had hair, I'd go there. That's an official endorsement, and it rhymes.
yes, it's fantastic. TM.
That needs to be on a shirt.
If I had hair, I'd go there. Urban Fringe.
They need to make that, and then if a bald guy walks in with his wife, hey, here you go. Here's a free shirt. You want a free shirt?
That's perfect.
It's all our promotional thing. If I had hair, I'd go there.
Yeah, there you go.
That's amazing. I like it.
Oh, but man, I am so
If
glad.
you get Captain Picard to wear that, man, they'd be in big time business.
All right, Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, sexiest man alive in one of those people years.
He was, huh?
Yeah,
I
I
forgot
think so.
about that.
Yeah,
We got to
yeah.
get our shirt on that guy.
That's right.
Is he still alive?
I think so.
He's got to
Yeah.
be very old.
Yeah.
But hell, the original Captain Kirk is still alive.
Yeah. Oh,
William
yeah.
Shatner's
Yeah.
still alive. That guy's
Yep.
like 95 years old
That's
and
right.
just killing it.
Yep.
He just went up in a rocket recently.
Yeah, he did. Bones and Spock no longer with us.
That's
but he's still alive,
that's
yeah.
true. I don't know who's listening by this point, but
Spock told him to live long and prosper, and by golly, he did it.
challenge accepted.
That's right.
Yes.
All right, so we have an episode.
We do have an episode tonight. Is like I said in the beginning there, the first part of a 3-part series on the disappearance, the kidnapping, and the murder of a woman named Ruby Stapleton.
Okay, so part uno.
Shall we get into it?
Let's go.
Frances Ruby Lowry was born on February 2nd, 1904 in the tiny farming community of Davenport, Nebraska,
Okay.
with a V. She was the third of 6 kids and would eventually have 4 sisters and 1 brother. When Ruby was a child, her parents, Ben Franklin and Clara Isabel Lowry, relocated from Davenport 600 miles southeast to the little town of Morrilton in Arkansas, which would end up playing a pivotal role in the remainder of Ruby's life.
Okay.
This is because Ruby's life would soon become intertwined with Harding University.
Oh, I've heard of that.
What's that, you might think?
Yeah, what's that? I'll pretend I haven't.
Thank you. Well, it was a small Christian college located in Morrilton at the time, initially known as Harding College. Today it's known as Harding University. The school was created in 1924 by the merger of 2 Christian colleges, Harper College in Harper, Kansas, and Arkansas Christian College in Morrilton. Named after James A. Harding, a prominent educator and preacher in the Church of Christ, the institution emphasized a curriculum grounded in Christian principles. It makes perfect sense that Ruby would soon become involved with Harding because her family was steeped in faith. In fact, her father was a preacher, so Ruby and her siblings had grown up hearing the gospel.
Okay.
We have an inside track on that because of the 3 of us, Mr. Sam over there, his father was also a preacher, so he grew up in that same kind of wheelhouse. You know what that's
right.
like.
Yeah.
I like the traveling ministry on like the semi-trailer that went to the truck stops. That's cool. That's a cool story. I like to hear you
Yeah,
talk about that. We saw pictures of it. It was awesome.
Short of it is my dad converted a semi-trailer into a church. It had like a small stage and pulpit and then about 4, I think, pews, row of pews in it. That would hold about 3 people per pew. And in the back of it had like living quarters. He'd go around to truck stops kind of in the tri-state area, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri. Went down to Texarkana, so I guess, Arkansas, Texas line right there.
Yeah.
And then a few times out to Colorado.
Nice.
Pueblo, Colorado, I think it was. There was a pretty big truck stop out there. So, he did that for many years.
That's cool. That's a very unique, and you traveled with him a lot, right, during this?
Yeah, when I was growing up and everything. He did it for probably a couple decades, I'd say, almost.
That's a very unique thing. I mean, I don't know at the time if you were like, hey, everyone probably is like this, but that's a very unique.
No, yeah, I knew it was unique.
Yeah.
When it was happening.
That's
you
very
didn't really
cool.
see that.
Now,
very
was he
often.
like? There's different kinds of pastors, and we all 3 of us grew up in church. Was he more of kind of the calm, methodical pastor? Okay.
Yeah, he didn't get loud and big and do all that.
I always grew up with the sweaty forehead
Yes.
pastor that was screaming hellfire and brimstone and pulling out the handkerchief to dab his upper lip every few minutes, and that was the pastor I grew up with.
I always like to be at home at 3 a.m. just crying, knowing I was going to burn in hell.
I did
After
as a kid.
going in there, waking my parents up. Hey, I got a problem. I feel like I'm gonna burn in Hades for all of eternity. That's not what I said. But then we started going to a church where the preacher was like your dad, where he was like, you gain them with love. You get your people with love, not with fear. And I always thought, like, wow, such a common sense thing that everyone should do, in my opinion. I know you don't want to step on people's toes, and I don't know. But I don't not break the law to stay out of jail. I don't break the law because I want to be a decent human.
Right.
I mean, I don't just like, well, if I do that, it might lead me down a road to the electric chair. I don't think like that.
Old Sparky's awaiting.
Yeah, exactly.
I too remember many a night as a child going to bed and praying profusely and hoping that, like, I even thought, like, what if I have a naughty dream and then I die in my sleep and I haven't had time to repent? Guess what?
Right.
I'm in hell for
right.
eternity.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, man, that was some scary times.
Yeah.
So shout out to those of you who grew up with fire and brimstone preachers.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of you out there.
I mean, it probably did something for us. I don't know what.
I mean, it scared me into just like, I haven't done any drugs in my life.
I didn't steal any juicy fruit after that, for sure.
Only thing I ever stole in my life was one time when I was like 9 or 10 years old. Back in those days, in the 80s, kids would wear, like, you would buy a new pair of Nikes, and it would have on the top loop a little metal chain, and then it would have a leather tag with the Nike swoosh.
Oh, yeah?
Or the Adidas logo, or all these new shoes had that leather tag chain.
I do remember that.
Those were the shiz, right?
Yeah.
Well, we were in JCPenney one time, and I snuck over. I didn't even have Nike shoes, man. I don't know what I was thinking.
Silver,
you know what?
Silver Series.
I want to tell you how big of a nerd I am.
Okay.
I suffered from chronic ingrown toenails, so my parents ordered me Dr. Scholl's Velcro shoes. White, look like a nurse's shoes that you would wear with blue scrubs. I got made fun of so hard.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone at school loves those.
Oh, my God. Try wearing Dr. Scholl's Velcro bleach white shoes to your school and see how that works out. These days, it might be okay. Everybody's inclusive. But back in those days, I was really made fun of. But anyway,
you do remember Mitch Hedberg's line on that, going back to some comedy.
Go ahead.
Where he says, Dr. Scholl's, I wouldn't take an advice from somebody that wasn't a doctor to know that stepping on foam is softer. Didn't have to be a doctor to tell me. He said Mr. Scholl could have convinced me of that.
Dude, oh my God.
Anyway, yeah, I do remember seeing those shoes. Like, I wouldn't be caught dead in them, but
thanks, man.
You were a good son for obeying.
I only wore them for like a week, and then I threw them away. My parents were so mad because they actually spent money.
I lost them.
Yeah, it's like, I can't, man. I don't have much social cred anyway at school, Mom and Dad, but what little I had vanished. So I meant to say, no, I'm in JCPenney. Mom's over there looking at skirts or whatever, so I slip over into the shoes, and I looking around. It was like I was heisting like the Hope Diamond or something. I was freaking sweating.
I'm sure you didn't look suspicious at all. I'm sure you didn't look sus.
Yeah, so I just sneak over. I'm just like looking at it, and I unclip the little metal thing. I slip it in my pocket.
Oh, man.
And I just walk over to Mom, and I'm just like, my freaking heart's pounding. Any moment I expect like JCPenney security, like in black suits and sunglasses, to be like, he's over here, we got him, and just tackle me.
I wish at that moment, like, the fire alarm gets pulled or something. Like some kind of weird, like a blue light special or something, Mm-hmm. I don't know. Did they have those? I guess not.
They probably did in the 80s. Thing. I don't know what they had. But so, long story short, I took it home. I never clipped it to my shoe that I remember. But I do remember I felt so guilty, and I was so scared of the police just like breaking in my window at night to get this. I took it back.
You did?
Every Saturday, me and my mom and dad went to
Criminal always returns to the scene.
I did.
You're right.
I went back and I clipped it back on a pair of shoes in JCPenney, clipped it back on. And then, man, my conscience was just like a flood of, oh my God.
Like your little brain back then, because I was just like you know, if they had true crime podcasts back then, it'd be like, on today's episode, the missing tag from Sears. Where did it go? Yeah. Like it would have been like a case.
This has been a hot topic of debate on Reddit for years. There's many theories.
Yeah, that's right. Many theories.
So Ruby's dad was a preacher. That's what led to that rabbit hole right there.
Yeah.
He was also editor of the local newspaper and had his own strong ties to Harding College. He not only helped organize the college at its inception, but was also the business manager from 1927 to 1929 and served on the board of trustees for many years.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
So, after high school, Ruby enrolled at the newly founded Harding College and attended for 2 years, where she began student teaching math in 1925. Student teaching. So that means she was still taking classes, but she was able to teach student teaching?
Yeah. I mean, I think you get some money or or something, probably money,
Okay.
or maybe it's part of your tuition or room and board where you help other students,
Oh,
like
cool.
tutor them. I think that's what that means. Yeah.
You're the one here with college learnings. I figured you'd know. I guess Sam did too. You did. You went to a type of music school, college type thing, right?
Oh yeah, but just for the trade, just for music.
That's me too.
Production.
I went basically for a while, but it's just to learn how to.
Yeah, I didn't do all the smart classes. So.
Smart classes.
Some are cool, but a lot of them obviously overrated.
Yeah, I just went to a few classes to learn how to polish up toilet water into clean water again. I don't know if I'd call it college learning, but it's something.
Whatever ignites your, inside you to make you want to learn, and the learning that you do when you're an adult is way more beneficial. But whatever like lights that fire under you,
Yeah.
I feel like what I'm learning like today is way more valuable than ever. Obviously, just rando stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
I learn stuff from
a
Ivan
start.
all the time on
I
this
learn
podcast.
stuff from you all the time too.
All right, I love you.
Ditto. That's cool. I don't want to make some pottery though. I almost said let's go make some pottery, but I was like, I don't want to.
I want to be the little spoon. The school, the school was still very small at the time, and when I say small, when Ruby graduated in 1926, guess how many people was in her class?
22. One, her?
She was the only person in her graduating class in 1926.
Well,
that was it.
That is a small class.
She was valedictorian. She was most likely to be successful. She was.
That means she
prettiest.
had the highest and the lowest GPA. She gave a speech to herself.
On the debate team, she would run to one podium, and then she would run to the other podium.
that's right.
She was literally the only graduate.
Wow. That is tiny.
Well, from there, she moved 300 miles west to the city of Norman, Oklahoma, to attend the University of Oklahoma, OU.
Mm-hmm.
Boomer sooner, I guess, is what they say. Good
They do
Lord,
say that.
you can tell. Good God, when a OU game is playing, my mother loses her mind.
Really?
Oh, you can hear her yelling from across the field.
Man, I'm glad I got rid of all that. There's no upside in me for sports, for sure. When they win, it's like, oh, yeah, they should have. When they lose, So I got rid of it. I weaned myself off until it was like Coca-Cola.
It does seem like an unnecessary emotional tethering to something that doesn't matter.
I feel like if you had generations of it and you're like some people that play and some people that coach, I feel like it can be a good thing, but I couldn't put it in a good place in my life, so I had to lose it like it was something really bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad that I lost it. I kind of follow it from a distance, from afar.
It's like it can cause depression. Like my father-in-law is a big Dallas Cowboys fan.
Oh.
And see? And I was over there at Thanksgiving and he was talking about it and he was just like, oh, it's so hard to be a Cowboys fan. And he was depressed. I was like, well, then don't be.
Yeah.
Just forget it. Just disconnect. But maybe you can't, man, if you have like emotional ties. I didn't do that. I didn't grow up with sports. Like I try to imagine kids that like, when I was a little boy, my dad took me to Wrigley Field and we watched the Red Sox or whatever shit happened.
So your happiness is if they got a ball not here,
not there,
but here.
Right there.
Yeah. Happiness,
depression,
inner turmoil, and depression.
That's a good way to
I'm
put
so
it.
happy. I can't stand. I don't want to be alive anymore. Yay! Oh. It's that.
Yeah.
A lot of times, Tennessee Titans almost won a Super Bowl, and it was that. That was that much.
It was that much.
Yeah.
God, what an emotional roller coaster that must have been.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm just, to be emotionally invested in a team like that, and I
It's
love
a ball.
I love my mama.
It's a ball with air in it.
Thankfully, I guess OU is a good team most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah.
Maybe they're like. I'm just
But
saying this.
What about when they're not?
What about when they're not? And I'm just saying this. I hope I don't upset anyone, but like it must be hard.
They know. I was a huge sports fan. They know what you're about to say. Go say it.
Do you really know?
Yeah, I think I do. I think
being
I
a
do.
Hogs fan.
Yeah. Go.
It's got to be hard.
It's incredibly hard.
Every time I ever talk to a Hogs fan, they're just like, yeah, maybe next year. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Damn, man. Like, when is it going to happen? I don't know. God, so many people are probably mad at me. I don't know anything about sports. Don't get mad at me. I don't know anything.
Yeah. Depending on what sport you're talking about. But yeah.
I'm talking about football, man.
Yeah, football. For sure.
Anyway, Woo Pig Suey.
Yeah.
I'm pandering now to whoever.
They know what you're saying. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, she moved 300 miles west of Norman, Oklahoma, University of Oklahoma. There she was majoring in English. I'm bringing people back up to speed on what we were talking about. When Ruby graduated from OU in 1931, she had successfully attained her master's in English.
Nice.
So she could speak English.
That's right.
Is what that means,
That's
I think.
right. Yep.
I don't know a lot about college, but I think you can speak English if you
right.
master in English.
I think so.
And not to brag, but I'm pretty damn good at English.
Yeah.
It's like the one language I've nailed.
I'm almost fluent.
I've only been practicing for 44 years, but I'm still not fluent. Although Ruby had left for Oklahoma to finish her schooling, Arkansas is where her heart truly was. More specifically, Morrilton.
Yeah.
More specifically, Harding College.
I blame that PBS song. Arkansas, you run deep and meet. You know another song? I don't think so. On PBS, when they signed off at night, they would play that. It was like a little music video. It showed the Buffalo River, showed the University of Arkansas. It showed all around different places.
Sing more of the song, Ivan.
No, I'm good. If you know it, you know it. IYKYK. If you know, you know.
I guarantee there's some people listening that are like, holy shit.
It's a fantastic song. I'm telling you guys.
Yeah.
Hits me right there. Well, not in the sternum so much, but somewhere in this.
Go slightly to the left.
Yeah. I don't have to point at it.
I remember, I must have watched ABC more.
Yeah.
Because I remember the Oklahoma station where it would show the Indian.
Yeah.
In his full headdress.
And they threw the trash down in the little tear?
No, that was a different thing.
Oh, okay.
That was don't throw that trash on Oklahoma.
Yeah.
No, it showed like an eagle, and it would play like the Star Spangled Banner, and then it would show the eagle would dissolve into the image of a flag waving, and then there was an Indian man stay. You remember?
Yeah.
And now concludes our broadcast day.
I'm going to tell you, that eagle sound, can you make it? Can you do that eagle?
No.
Like it's.
I'm not even going to try.
Anyway, for me now, that's the funniest sound effect. Anytime I ever hear that anywhere, you know what I'm saying? It's like the reverb. It's like, I can't do it. But it is the funniest sound effect.
Yeah.
I don't know why I think it's so funny, but I've just heard it in some random funny things.
It's just great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that more than anything. And then after they would sign off, it would just go to like blocked colors on the screen. It would just be like, boom.
Yeah, that's right.
That was it.
Then you have to wake up.
Is that it, Sam? Or is this the Arkansas song? Well, Jesus Lord, that was not an eagle. What the hell was that?
That's not the one.
That was not an eagle, my friend.
It must just have to be in the distance, maybe.
That was crazy. What was that? There it is. America.
Maybe that's what it is. Did they use that in that?
I think they did.
Yeah.
You know we're here to save the mother. Day, America. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Sam. That was. I needed that. Continue on.
By the early... Oh, wait. Hold on. This is live, and y'all will know that sometimes Joey messes up, and that's okay. All right. By the early 30s, Harding was finally... Wait, is this where I was supposed to... 1932, the age of... Okay, here we are. Immediately after graduation... Is that okay, Sam? Oh, I messed it up by saying, is that okay, Sam? People watching are like, by God, they're human. They do mess up. I didn't know. Immediately after graduation, she left Norman and traveled back home. And in 1932, at the age of 28, Ruby became an associate professor at Harding College.
Cool.
By the early 30s, Harding was finally starting to grow as an institution. In fact, by 1934, just 2 years after Ruby began teaching there, it was beginning to outgrow its current facilities, and it was decided that a larger campus was needed to facilitate that growth. After some searching, a new campus was purchased in nearby Searcy, Arkansas. And by God, you better not ever call it Searcy,
Don't say Searcy.
It's Searcy. One would think that would be Searcy, but do not.
So it's like sir, like hello, sir.
Hello, sir, and then say
Sir,
C.
C.
SIR-SEE.
That's easier anyway.
For sure.
It's like C or I C. You know, you actually got to inflect, but you'd be like Cersei.
Cersei.
Yeah, that's way easier.
Cersei. You got to have a chaw
they
of
should
Levi
say-
Garrett in your mouth.
Cersei.
Cersei.
Say it the easy way. That should be in parentheses, and then that solves that.
That's it. It's like before we started rolling, it's the same with Miami.
Miami.
That's Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Miami is in Florida.
Yep.
But if you go to
into
Miami,
Mi-
Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and you walk into a gas station or something and you're like, it sure is cool to be in Miami,
Yeah.
you'll get your face beat in. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or a verbal altercation.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not Miami. That's sacrilege.
We're going to Miami. Welcome to Miami.
We should rewrite
Was
that
that
song.
Will Smith?
I don't know,
Never
man.
mind. I don't want to do anything.
But
for
we
him.
should rewrite that for Miami, Oklahoma, instead of Miami.
He hit Chris Rock, and I love Chris Rock.
Hey, oh no. Who's the boxer that had AIDS? I'm sorry to put it that
Morrison?
way. Tommy Morrison.
Yeah.
He was from J, not Miami.
Okay.
J. Yeah, which is close.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with that
Don't
now.
apologize because I knew exactly who you were talking about.
So, I mean, not very many boxers have had AIDS, so that was a good way to
don't-
narrow it down.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's the only one I know of.
He's pretty much it. Even though, like, at the end, man, he swore he didn't have it. He was like, oh, they were wrong. They retested me, and they were wrong. He tried to get back into boxing. I'm not joking. Right before he died, he was like, I'm in the best shape I've ever been. And he was trying to get back in, and he said that he got retested. They were
How
wrong.
are you making me laugh at this? Why? How? And why? Don't.
That's
I don't
just
wanna
what he
laugh at-
said.
I don't know, but I feel like you somehow made me laugh.
He did look healthy. He looked healthy. He also looked like he was wearing eyeliner, which is different.
Next.
He was born in Gravette, Arkansas.
In Gravette?
Yeah.
So was I.
You were born in
I
Gravette?
was at Gravette Medical Center. Yeah,
I didn't know there was a hospital in Gravette.
yeah
Back in 1977?
there is and was. I mean, it's still there. I was there not too long ago, but I don't know if it's I think it might be just like a glorified clinic now. I don't even know.
You know-
Sorry if you're at Gravette Medical Center. I don't want to crap on you.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
They did a good job. I didn't hit the floor or anything.
Dude, the hospital I was born in doesn't even exist anymore.
Where was it?
It was right here in town, right here in Siloam.
Oh yeah,
It's where the library is now.
Okay, yeah,
And the amphitheater
yeah,
where that was a trippy thing.
yeah.
Like when I was still in the band and we were playing at the amphitheater, I
Yeah.
was thinking we're on the exact ground where I was born and where my father died.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we have to go to Sam's shows there because that's an awesome place to take your kids. They play in the water. On the what's that thing called?
The grassy knoll.
The splash
pad. I couldn't
Splash
think of the
pad.
word splash pad. And then you listen to music. It's like the perfect thing in the summer.
I've been to several of those, hanging out with Sam while he did the sound
Yep.
for those shows, and it
Yeah,
was
you
amazing.
played a couple of them too.
We played a couple too, yeah.
That's right.
Yep, played some old classic rock, Aerosmith, Beatles music for the folks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great place.
Never heard any of those. Joe's a name dropper.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Not to brag.
No, you're good.
So yeah, they're getting too big, right? Harding's getting too big. They purchased this other campus in Searcy, and that was just 70 miles east of Morrilton, so not too far away. It had previously been the Galloway College of Women
Okay.
and provided far more space than had been available back in Morrilton. So that was, I guess are there still like colleges that are exclusively women or for women or
IDK?
men?
That's a great question. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that.
All right. Ruby herself
I
was,
imagine there are.
I would think, I don't know. Why would there be though? Like what fun would that be? Like if you're going for the college experience, like say you're a guy. It's like,
Well,
man, you know what
listen,
I want out of
listen, I'll
college
tell
is
you
for
this.
there to be no girls.
I'll tell you why it would probably be a thing.
I know why. Go ahead.
Distraction.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
zero
yeah.
distraction. I mean, it's supposed to be about education, but if it can't be, there's a huge problem. I'm still kind of old school when it comes to that.
I'm over here trying to concentrate on calculus, and Julie over there wore her yoga pants again. I can't think of nothing, man.
There you go.
I get it. I understand.
There you go, Tony Danza. I don't know who's the boss. They always ask me every episode.
So Ruby herself was charged with overseeing the move from Morrilton to Searcy,
Gotcha.
which even for a small college had to be a fairly daunting task. So even then, they must have really, had some faith in old Ruby Stapleton.
Sure.
I don't know. I called her old Ruby Staple. It's kind of
It sounds, well, yeah.
She
it
was
works.
young at the time, but
Yeah.
In 1935, Ruby married a fellow faculty member named Emmett Ray Stapleton. And holy shit, is this guy going to be interesting later on? Trust me.
All right, there's some foreshadowing.
Oh my Lord.
That's the most direct foreshadowing ever.
I'm telling you, man, this guy is a bag of contradictions and just he's just a lot of fun. Okay, here we go.
Okay, I can't wait.
Ray had been employed at Harding as a business professor since 3 years prior. After their wedding, the couple moved to Alabama for a while, but returned to Searcy and resumed their employment at Harding 5 years later. The couple had 2 children, a girl named Marie Claire, and a boy named Glenn Dewey.
Okay.
All right? No?
Who can Dewey? Glenn Dewey.
Glenn Dewey. I just like that name. And it's not Glenn, by God.
Oh, it's not Glenn.
It's Glenn Dewey.
Oh.
No, it's 2 names, but you got to use both of them.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. It's like Jim Bob.
Right, Jim Bob, right.
Yeah. It's
Right.
one thing.
It's Glenn Dewey.
Glenn
So
Dewey.
that's how we will be referring to him in the rest of the episodes.
My name's Glenn Dewey.
Glenn Dewey. I
Okay.
kind of wish I had 2 names like that. Like, that's a real redneck thing. Like
yeah.
Billy Ray. Hey, Billy Ray, come over here. My name's Billy Ray. But I don't have that kind of name.
is. Usually you only get that when you get in trouble when you're a kid.
Yeah.
You don't do
So
the
I know your
two
middle
first
name is Glenn. What's your
Yeah.
middle name, Sam?
Nathan.
Oh, that's my middle name. How did I
I
not
think
remember that?
I think we've discussed that before.
Seems like we have.
We both have the same middle name.
Yeah.
Well, by God. Okay. I didn't know that. I mean, I probably did, but I forgot.
Yeah, I think you had that same reaction before.
Every day's a new day to Joey. Hey, listen, man. I wrote these notes 3 weeks ago, and reading them now is like the first. I wrote this shit, but this is like the first time I've ever read it.
That's okay.
I have a toilet handle on the side of my brain, and after I'm done with a case, I go, and everything just goes out.
Yeah.
And I know nothing. So I'm
Do you
just
have
as
a-
surprised
do you
as
also
you.
have a bidet nozzle so you can spray the little residuals of the episode out?
I'm just as surprised as you guys when I'm reading this crap. Really, I am, because sometimes I'm like, "Holy crap! Did you see this?" I forgot. There's too much, man. Someone will come up to me that like, "Hey, man, I just listened to episode 209. What do you think about so and so?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't even know what you're talking about."
Is it that, or do you have a clone like that Michael Keaton movie that writes all these episodes?
Multiplicity.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
That's a great. She touched my peppy, Steve. That's a great movie. So Ray, man, this is going to be a problematic character in the rest of this story.
All right.
Ray Stapleton. Ray taught at Harding for the next 13 years, 1940 to 1953. But already, here's where we get to some weird shit with Ray. In 1953, something strange happened.
Okay.
Ray left Harding and spent the next decade jumping from college to college around the country.
Okay.
Teaching here for a little while, teaching there. We'll get into why later. But it's crazy.
It can't be anything good, I wouldn't think.
Not really, no.
Okay.
He's an interesting character. Ray never seemed to stay in one place for too long, but was living and teaching in Wisconsin at the time of Ruby's death.
Okay.
Harding had actually asked Ray to resign from his position after some unsavory behavior had come to light. Although apparently at the time, only a select few staff and close family members knew exactly why. Well, I'll tell you why in a little bit.
I think he crop dusted his students.
You would have been fired long ago, my friend. That's not it. Oh, and by the way, if you were in Walmart in Stillwell, Oklahoma 3 days ago, I apologize for everyone on aisle 14.
Yeah, they've been looking for you. Now the mystery's solved. We solved something.
From the Bolo dog food all the way down to the cat litter boxes was just crop dust city.
Yeah.
It was me. I'm here to say it
was
now.
me.
It was me.
Hey, it's good of you to admit.
Who says we don't solve crimes
That's
on
right.
Mantis?
That's right.
Someone somewhere is like, I knew it.
You're the perpetrator, the turd perpetrator. Turd potato. No, wait.
I don't understand.
I wanted to make turd and perpetrator go together, and I couldn't do it. I failed,
I don't think it's going to happen, man.
The poopatrator. The poopatrator. That works. You're the poopatrator.
Okay.
P-O-O. I knew I'd get it. eventually.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole Ray Stapleton thing as to why, and I know everyone's chomping at the bit to know why, like what unsavory behavior. I'm going to dangle that carrot for a little bit. We're going to get into that in a little bit.
All right. There, you just dangle that carrot.
Though Ray and Ruby never lived together again after this deal, Ruby remained married to Ray for the final 6 years of her life. And she remained at Harding College, too. So she stayed there. She kept the house. She kept everything. And Ray took a little bit of money and took off.
Okay.
I know what everyone's like, oh, my God, did he have an affair with a student? What did he do? You know, okay, I'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay.
It does appear as though they kept in touch by phone and through letters. And Ray would also visit the house sporadically.
Okay.
It's a very weird relationship, but that's what they did. Ruby's mom died in 1945, and her father had fallen ill not long after. He wound up living with Ruby, and she took care of him until his own death, which occurred in 1955.
Wow, 10 years.
10 years, man. She took care of her sick dad, so good on her.
Yeah.
Throughout the remainder of the 1950s and into the early 60s, Ruby carried on with her daily routine. In recent years, several people had left the Stapleton home on 910 East Center Street. Ray had left, as did son Glenn Dewey, and Ruby's father had passed away. But Marie Claire and a niece, who were both 20 years old, had been living with Ruby for a while, so it wasn't a totally empty house.
Okay.
Ruby welcomed the girls to stay as long as they liked. She was just 59 and not looking forward to the prospect of living totally alone for the rest of her life. Unfortunately, that was not an issue she would ever have to deal with because Ruby Stapleton's life was about to end.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's your Bill Curtis line right there.
Yeah.
Her life would be shorter than a day in late winter in Arkansas. I don't know.
Yeah, 56 years.
Yeah.
Or did you say 56?
59.
59.
Which when I was a kid was like, holy shit, you lived 100 lifetimes.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, wow, that's young.
Yeah.
I hear someone that died at 65. I'm like, oh, they were so young.
Yeah.
They could have had another 20 years.
Yeah.
You know? That's
Yeah.
what I feel like now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Is it just
Perspective.
because we ourselves are pushing, you know, you're a little older than me, I'm going to say, Ivan, you're pushing 50 over there.
I guess I always thought by this point when you're at this age, let's say when I was like 10, I would have thought in your 40s you just felt bad every day and like everything hurt and you like were slouched over and that's what I mean. I think that has a lot to do with it. I've been thinking about that lately.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't feel. I mean, other than just like a minor ache or pain every once in a while, like I feel as good now as I felt probably 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, me too. People listening, like younger people who are listening right now, listen, you're good. Like I'm sitting over here. I'm almost 45. I feel freaking great. Like you said, I might have an ache or pain every once in a while, but on the daily, I feel like I did when I was 20 years old. I feel fine. There's no difference. You know, I'm seriously just as immature also.
Yeah.
I'm literally no different than I was at like 17 or 18, except for I have male pattern baldness and a gray beard. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. But as far as feeling, I feel fine.
Yeah.
In fact, I might feel better in a lot of ways because a lot of times I'll get to bed at a decent time and, you know, I'll eat better food than I used to.
I definitely
drink better
don't.
things.
I definitely don't.
Yeah.
I do the opposite of
Well,
all
I
this
know,
stuff,
I know. But
I still feel better.
But, I mean, you don't probably do it in the like you don't probably gorge yourself like you probably used to.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like you treat things as a treat, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of just like everyday life. That's the way I like to look at it.
Well, so my doctor, I had my yearly physical not too long ago, and my doctor straight out told me, he's like, you know, you're eating like double cheeseburgers and steaks and drinking 17 Dr. Peppers a day, and you're fine now because you're incredibly active and you never sit down.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
But he's like, man, I'm telling you, that's going to catch up with you.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know when. You might be 50, you might be 55, but he said it's going to hit you hard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, until then, let's party! You know? Let's eat. Let's do it. I want a double cheeseburger and 2 milkshakes before bed. That's it, man.
John Belushi in it, aren't you?
I am. But, you know, I don't smoke. I don't do any drugs, you know.
Yeah.
I have the occasional few beers or you know, whatever like that, but not in excess. Maybe once or twice, literally like maybe 2 or 3 days a month, I might do that.
That's the key, not in excess.
Not in excess, man. So I think I'm good. And I think what saves me is, like my doctor said, I never sit down.
That's good,
I've always been just a jacked person, you know, like I don't know. People have asked me before, like, man, like for real, just between me and you, you're on drugs. I
won't tell no
I
one.
swear to God, I'm not, man. I'm just like, I can't sit down, you know?
Yeah.
It takes me like 4 or 5 days to watch a movie because, ask my wife, I'll get 15 minutes into the movie and I'm just like, I freaking can't sit there that long. I have
Movies
to get
are
up and
too
do something.
long, I think.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
anywho's, yeah. When it catches up with me, I'll start being more healthy. But until then, let's rock and roll.
There you go. Kick the tires and light the fires.
That's right. That's right, Goose. Ruby's last day on Earth was Tuesday, October 8th, 1963. And it began like any other routine day. As usual, she woke up at 5 a.m. and made breakfast for the girls. After that, she went out into the front yard to work in her flower beds for about the next hour. Ruby kept a spotless house and a manicured yard and never let either get out of order. Sometime after 7 a.m., she spoke with a house painter about touching up the home's exterior, and she lost track of time. She made the 8 o'clock hair appointment at Louise Cannon's beauty salon, but arrived half an hour late. So she arrives about 8:30-ish
Okay.
for her hair appointment. After getting her hair washed and styled, Ruby headed over to Harding College and taught her morning class, which began at 9:45. After class ended, she went home and made lunch and ate that with Marie and Clarita. They were still there. Before returning to Harding College to teach her afternoon classes, and those classes ended at 4:35.
Okay.
Witnesses later reported seeing her tidying up her desk at approximately 4:45. This is all important because this is like, she's got hours to live.
Yeah, this is the timeline.
Yes. After this, Ruby returned home and made supper for the girls. After eating, Marie and Clarita met their boyfriends and made the short walk to Harding campus just a block away for a devotional and Bible study group, which began at 6:30.
Okay.
Ruby also left the house in her white Mercury Comet station wagon a little after 7 p.m. to go visit with her son Glenn Dewey and his wife Pat, who lived just a few miles down the road. The couple had recently had a baby, which was their second child, and Ruby had made an effort to see the newborn whenever she could. On her way there, she stopped and picked up Pat's younger sister, Charlotte. Just 14 years old at the time of the incident, Charlotte's recollection of events is a big reason why we know as much as we do about Ruby's final hours.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
most
that
of
would
this
be-
comes from Charlotte's testimony.
Okay.
She said Ruby had picked her up about 7:30 and brought her some bones to give to her dog when she got back home later that night. So she had this little bag of bones that she harvested from whatever. And but she didn't let Charlotte have them at the time. She said, we'll go see Glenn Dewey, go see the new baby, and then when I drop you off later, you can take these bones to your new dog. I don't know why that matters, but I'm all about the details at this point.
The deets.
They had arrived at Glenn Dewey's house around 7:40. There, Ruby held her new grandchild and visited with her family, as well as watched some television. So wait, what year was this? 1963. I wonder what was on TV at 7:30 in 1960, 7:47. Let's say 8 o'clock, between 8 and 9 in 1963. I wonder what was going on then. Like, what was the sitcoms? I bet Sam's looking it up now. We'll get to that in a minute. Then Glenn Dewey mentioned that the family's washing machine was on the fritz,
Okay.
and he wasn't sure how to fix the thing. Knowing a family of 4 could not go long without a washing machine, Ruby offered to take the laundry to the local washateria and wash it for them, and the family agreed. So
Washateria.
that's what they were called back then.
Cool.
Laundromat, washateria.
That makes sense.
Yeah, in case people are wondering.
Yeah, that's cool.
Sam, do you have any idea what the lineup may have been in
Looks
1963?
like
Andy Griffith Show?
Can I take a
It would have
guess?
been kind of early.
Was I Love Lucy still on in 63? I don't think it was. I don't know if it was still on by 63.
The Outer Limits. is
Oh,
on.
nice. Outer Limits.
Cool.
The Fugitive.
Okay.
100 Grand game show.
Okay. Okay.
What else we got here? The Jerry Lewis Show.
Leave It to Beaver, maybe.
Andy Griffith.
Andy Griffith, you were right. Sam.
Beverly
Ivan.
Hillbillies.
Ah, Beverly Hillbillies. That slipped by us.
Petticoat Junction.
Okay.
Oh,
heard of that
yeah.
too. Yep. Yep.
Then later on that had the-
Bonanza.
Bonanza.
Petticoat Junction had the spinoff, which
Yeah.
was more famous, Green Acres.
Green Acres, yeah.
Oh, that was a spinoff from
Yep.
Petticoat Junction.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wicked.
Gunsmoke was on.
Gunsmoke.
Then Ed Sullivan Show was around back then. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. Good
Oh, here we
lineup,
go.
man. Some good
7
TV on.
p.m.
1963.
Lassie.
Lassie.
My Favorite Martian.
Oh, dude, I used to watch My Favorite Martian all the time. The guy was great. He had the antenna that would just like pop up, like pump up above his head there.
Walt
His hair.
Disney's World of Color. That was on back then. Yeah, so there you go. That was kind of between 7 and 9,
Okay,
somewhere around there.
there you go. Well, picture that, guys, on a little black and white.
Oh, wait, what day was it?
What day? Damn.
Oh.
Well, hold on. Let's get specific. Let's find out exactly what Ruby Stapleton
Here you go.
watched.
The Lucy Show was on.
So I want to say the last day of Ruby's life was, and I just read that a second ago. Hold on. It was Tuesday, October 8th, 1963. So what was the Tuesday lineup, Sambo?
Tuesday lineup was Combat, McHale's Navy. This is on ABC. And The Greatest Show on Earth and The Fugitive.
Okay.
CBS was Marshall Dillon. Gunsmoke Repeats. Red Skelton Show.
Oh, Red Skelton.
My dad loved Red Skelton.
Me too. I love Red Skelton.
Then that was Petticoat Junction, and then the Jack Benny Show.
Jack Benny's funny too.
Um,
I'm going to just pretend that they watched Skelton,
yeah,
Red Skelton.
Yeah.
His pantomiming stuff was great.
Oh, yeah.
He was great.
and a lot of classic shows. Ozzy and Harriet.
Oh,
That was back
nice.
then. Oh, there you go.
Cool.
Well, after the visit and after watching Red Skelton for an hour, the laundry was loaded into Ruby's car and she left to take Charlotte back home. Charlotte said that on the way she had told Ruby she didn't remember if she had put the Whisk detergent in the car. Wash your clothing with Whisk detergent. It will get your whites whiter than white and your colors cleaner than you've ever seen them before. Again, try
More
Whisk
color
detergent.
More color than color.
Yeah. Ed Sullivan was brought to you
missed
by
that.
Whisk detergent.
Yeah.
As
What was Lucy pitching that one time? Vitamita Vegemite.
Vitamita
and-
Vegemite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vitamin Vegemite.
That's a mouthful right there.
Yeah.
That's a tough one to say.
That's a great episode because
Yeah.
after 5 or 6 takes, she was like, "Try this stuff,"
yeah.
and then when she just puts the spoon down and takes a swig out of the bottle, I'm telling you, man,
Yeah.
I Love Lucy holds up better than any old show like that. You will
Oh yeah, I'll turn it
laugh
on.
your ass
Yeah, I'll
off.
turn it on sometimes whenever I'm going to bed and just watch a bunch
Yeah.
of episodes.
You know what? I was watching The Honeymooners the other day.
Oh, dude,
Jackie Gleason.
So this happened in a lot of episodes, and I picked up on this. I was going to talk to you guys about it. That part where he knows he's wrong, everyone leaves. It's just him and Alice. Who was Alice, right?
Yeah.
yeah, it was Alice.
And he's wanting to apologize or he's wanting to defend himself, but he can't. So he's like just walking behind her, and he's about to say something, but he doesn't say it. He's about to say something again. It's classic stuff. It's no one saying anything for like 30 seconds, and it's getting huge laughs. So I was just going to tell you, I was going to tell you guys the level of that guy back then and what he laid out for the rest of sitcom, till today.
Yeah,
That and then he doesn't defend himself. He just apologizes and says, "Yeah, I love you, baby. You're the greatest," or whatever.
yeah.
And then she smiles, and it's all. But I mean, that cadence of all that just carried on after that forever.
Yeah, it
until
did.
today.
And then he went on to do his greatest role ever.
Smokey
Yeah.
and the
Smokey.
Bandit.
yeah.
Yep.
Smokey and the Bandit,
But
baby.
just the talent of him to entertain without saying anything.
yeah.
Just body language, just for
Mm-hmm.
because the writing's all on the wall. He messed up, and he's got to make good on it.
Yep.
It's just awesome stuff. Check it. It's on YouTube. Check it out. It still comes on some channel every once in a while.
The only thing that doesn't age well about that show was the main thing that people remember about that show. One of these days, Alice.
Yeah, but
That's been going through my head the whole time
Bang!
talking about it.
To the
Yeah.
moon. Yeah.
but
Mhm.
yeah, but people have to know that he would have never.
And he never did.
No.
Yeah.
But if
He
if
never
you're-
punched Alice.
If you're one of those that's gonna like pick that show apart and say, we're gonna condone domestic violence.
Watching
like,
that show is basically condoning sexism and violence against women.
we
should ban
You kind
it.
of had a Meg cadence. Shut up, Meg.
We should totally ban it. Let's cancel that show. Come on, people.
Anyway, he never would have.
Okay, now I'm finding out where I was when we
Continue on.
Now
sir.
that we'll start this. So Ruby's like, "Hey, make sure the Whisk is in the back seat. The Whisk detergent, right?"
Yeah,
This episode of Dawn of Mantis brought to you by Whisk.
yeah.
That's the only detergent Ruby Stapleton used.
They still make that stuff.
I have no idea.
That sounds like they probably do.
But this is the 60s, early 60s, so I imagine her being like, "Would you check and see if the Whisk is in the back of the car?"
Yeah,
Everybody
gaining
was.
tide now.
So yeah, it was important enough that they pulled over to the shoulder and stopped the car so they could look back there to make sure that, Charlotte had indeed brought the whisk. Guess what? Charlotte dropped the ball.
Uh-oh.
Charlotte didn't bring the whisk.
So it was back at the laundromat.
It was back at Glenn Dewey's house, man.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
Oh, okay. I
Didn't
see.
bring the whisk.
Okay, I got you. Well, you're going to have that.
No, well, Ruby, after a little while of contemplation, she's like, you know what? I guess Tide will have to work.
Mm-hmm.
This is really true. This is what she said.
Oh, okay.
She according to Charlotte, she said Tide'll work just as well.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, we won't do the whisk. So they pull back onto the road, right? They're going there. Once they're at the laundromat, Ruby, no, sorry, back up. When they get to Charlotte's house, because she's got to drop Charlotte off first, Ruby hands Charlotte the bag of bones she brought. Give these to your dog. Mm-hmm. Such a nice lady.
I remember
She
those
didn't even
bones.
throw the bones away. She saved them for the dog.
That was nice.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing the New York accent when we're in Searcy, Arkansas, but there you go.
There we go.
So she drops Charlotte off, gives her the bag of bones, drives away into the night. That was the last time that Charlotte ever saw Ruby.
Oh, no.
From there, Ruby drove back to her own house to grab her own laundry. So I'm going to do my laundry too.
Okay.
Get a twofer. She got to her house about 9 p.m. Now, Clarita had gotten home just before her and was standing in the yard rinsing off a pair of muddy shoes when Ruby arrived. Ruby gathered her laundry and asked Clarita if she wanted to tag along, but the girl was tired and declined the offer. Of course, it would be the last time that she, too, also ever saw Ruby.
Mm.
And just thinking, I was wondering that to myself, like, if Clarita had gone with Ruby, would Ruby have still been kidnapped? Because then they would have had to have obviously taken Clarita too, or would they have seen a second person with Ruby and thought, not tonight, let's not do this, it's too risky.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about.
There's no way to know.
Yeah.
Marie Claire arrived home about 10 p.m. and was informed by Clarita that Ruby had left to do laundry about an hour earlier. The two girls then went about their separate nightly routines in the house for the next hour or so until Marie Claire began to worry that her mother still wasn't home. The girls tried to look up the number to the washateria, and it was called Norge. I think it's Norge. So Norge?
Yeah.
Laundrorama is what it was called. They couldn't find the number. It was then that they decided to contact the Searcy Police Department and ask if an officer would go by the washateria and check on Ruby.
Yeah.
The Searcy PD was like, sure, no problem. They sent two officers, Woodruff and Hunter, to check out the Norge Laundrorama. When they arrived, they found Ruby's Comet station wagon still parked in the lot, with some laundry still inside. However, there was no sign of Ruby in her car, in the washateria, or anywhere else in the immediate area. After Officer Woodruff called Marie Claire to alert her of this fact, Marie Claire requested he come get her and take her to the laundromat to look herself. Woodruff obliged and made the short drive to 910 East Center Avenue. Clarita decided to remain at the house while Woodruff drove Marie Claire back to the laundromat. After another unsuccessful search for Ruby, Marie Claire had the officers drive her home. They had the officers drive her to her brother's house, Glenn Dewey's house, not her own home. Clarita remained at the own house. He told the officer he hadn't seen his mother since she had left with their laundry hours before. So that is all the people closest to Ruby. No one has seen her, so that's when alarm bells really went up.
You could almost figure out the exact time of somewhere around the exact time of when she was taken or when she left. Because if you think, well, you knew how long it took her to drive there. Mm-hmm. So she parks, and the first thing she's going to do is start doing laundry, right?
Right.
So you figure out where she is in that progress. I'm sure someone's already thought of this for sure. So you'd know. Now, not that helps solve a crime, but there's got to be some kind of indication of when, earlier, or was it?
That's important.
Yeah, definitely.
Time. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
So we have it. We know, based on eyewitness accounts, we have it narrowed down to a 15-minute window.
Oh, hey, that's good. That's real good.
A 15-minute window.
Yeah.
Yeah. Officers Woodruff and Hunter left Marie Claire at her brother's house and notified the sheriff of Ruby's disappearance. Back at the house, Ruby's two children got antsy and decided to go back to the washateria and have yet another look for their missing mother. And I could put myself there, and I would do the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, I know you've already been there. I know you've already looked. I know the police have already been there, but you're just sitting at your house. You have no idea where your mom is. I'd be like, let's just go back and look again.
Sure, yeah. That's what you do.
The police searched all over Cersei that night, but no trace of Ruby was found, other than her car and her laundry at the washateria. They did, however, discover that 2 tire shops had been broken into at close to the same time that Ruby had vanished, and they both happened to be within 2 blocks of Norwich Laundorama. They wondered if Ruby had accidentally discovered one of these robberies in progress and was taken or killed to eliminate a witness. That's just one theory.
Yeah.
Kind of silly, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't think you'd just be like, stealing out of a tire shop and then you just go straight to murder.
You go straight to murder.
But I mean, there's something to be said. You're driving by, you see that, you're the only witness. I mean, it's not that it's not plausible at all, though.
I've heard of that before. Like, I've heard of someone breaking into a house, committing a robbery, committing an offense that, if they would have been caught, they might go to jail for 10 years. So, but they will, like, kill someone to eliminate a witness, and in that way they'll end up going to jail for their lifetime.
Yeah.
Or to the electric chair. I know. I guess a lot of criminals aren't real bright, but
Yeah.
cut your losses. It's like, yeah. You caught me in the midst of stealing your TV, which, in some places I might just be bonded out the next day and not even ever go to jail. But to eliminate you as a witness, I'm going to kill you. And now I've committed a crime that I'll go to jail for life with, to cover up a crime that I would have only went to jail for maybe a couple years or not at all.
Imagine you get home with that TV, though. You put the TV on, you hook it all up, you're watching a show on it. Or you're not just thinking, wow, I had to kill somebody for this thing.
Probably not.
The picture's not quite as bright as it would have been.
I'd like to think that. I would like to think that. But, man, there are some people in this world that they were born without a conscience.
That's true.
They don't have that in them. They don't have that in them.
Yeah, I'm trying to rationalize irrational behavior.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's what people like to think, that everyone else is basically like you. Like, man, I couldn't even watch that TV. I'd feel too terrible. No, there's some people out there that could literally kill you for a can of beer and not feel anything, It's hard for us to imagine
better.
that. There are people out there that just don't have that in them. They don't have that conscience.
Yeah.
It's a sociopathic thing or whatever it is. They're wired different and they don't care. It's hard for us to imagine that because we do, but yeah.
That's true.
All right, hold on.
Continue on.
Over the next few days, word spread that Ruby Stapleton was missing. Due to the strange circumstances, fear gripped the town, and many folks who had never locked their doors before were doing that now. It's very strange, right? When a woman that is so well known in the community just disappears.
I mean, this town is decent size now, but back then, it was probably pretty small. Word got around real fast.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Yeah, like, it's funny you say that because, my next line is Cersei was a small town where everybody knew everyone, especially someone who was involved in the community and the college and the church, like Ruby Stapleton.
Independence Day.
Yep.
What happened? What did I miss?
Word gets around in a small town.
I did a song lyric.
Martina McBride?
Looked, Sam lit up. I knew he got it.
Okay.
It's fine.
Let freedom ring.
Actually, you know what? I'd have to listen back, but I don't know if I was doing a reference. I think I might have inadvertently.
No, I think you inadvertently did it. And
I don't think
I just caught it.
Yeah, I don't think I was making that reference.
No, you weren't.
That's funny. But that's ingrained in me. Great song, man. She could belt that thing.
Oh yeah, Martina McBride. Did you ever run sound for her?
No.
That's one she never did, huh? Huh. Okay, that's like one of the very few. Usually you're like, yeah, twice. Yeah, I hung out with her in the green room.
No, I don't think she ever went to doing casinos.
Did she just hang it up or something? Like,
I think she's still around. I think she still does just Nashville stuff or just the bigger shows. I mean, her husband runs Blackbird Studios in Nashville. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Very, very famous studio out there.
Okay.
So, he recorded all her stuff. So.
Yep. Independence Day, great song. We always take it back to some 80s country song or 90s.
90s.
Yeah, 90s.
Yeah. Great video, too.
Everyone in town was sick with worry and demanding answers as to how a sweet, harmless woman could be plucked out of such an innocent and unassuming place as the local laundromat. If we live in a town where a woman can't even go wash her damn underthings in the laundromat and be safe, I don't want it. They were pissed. I would be too, right? She wasn't just some old gal. She was a college professor. You know what I mean? She was a church goer. Everyone knew her.
Church,
she
goer.
was something with the church. She went there, a church goer.
Yeah,
You know?
I like it.
She was a staple. She was a pillar of the community. And all she wanted to do was wash her goddamn petticoat in the laundromat, and she gets abducted. I don't want it. Who's president in 1963? Was it Kennedy? He got assassinated in 63. When did this happen? October. So he was already dead. No, he was in November. He was in November, man. November 22nd, 1963.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Look it up, right? Kennedy assassination, November 22nd, 1963.
Lyndon B. Johnson's tenure started on November 22nd, 1963.
I think it was the same day, man.
Upon the assassination.
Kennedy
of
wasn't even
JFK.
cold yet.
Yeah.
Lyndon B. Johnson was all, man, he was all, I'm already president. He swore himself in on the freaking jet, dude, when he was going over before Kennedy was even cold. I told you, man. I told you. I forgot where I was even going with this. I got a little too excited.
There was a man on the grassy knoll. There was Batch Man. There was
Babushka lady.
There was, who else? There's thousands.
But still, oh yeah, the rednecks at Cersei was going to blame it on the president.
That's
It's
right.
that goddamn Kennedy.
Yeah.
And he was still alive. This is October, man. He had another week or 2 or 3 to live. It's crazy, man. I didn't realize when I was doing this research that the Kennedy assassination was so close to this.
Some gets blame it on the president, and then what happens.
That's what you do, man.
Yeah.
You know, just blame it on the president.
I can't wait till he gets out of office. It's like, oh man.
Do we have news for you?
Dude, don't do that. You can wait. Just wait.
Classes at Harding College were dismissed so that students could aid in the search, and over 500 of them did.
That's what troubles me about this case. There's so many suspects. You know, anyone they'll talk about, well, who has she interacted with in the past month?
A lot of people.
A lot.
A lot of people.
And a lot of like the Indiana Jones effect. You know, the girls had crushes on their professor.
You think a lot of guys had crushes on Ruby?
Well, I mean, it could have. I mean, just gotta, you gotta think. You got somebody going to these classes. They want to get inspired by somebody learned, like a professor or a subject.
Yeah.
And then they end up mixing their passion of learning with, a romantic thing, and that's not good. That's what I was thinking for the beginning of this. But I don't know. I'm sure you're going down that road a little bit.
Yeah, and I could see, man, there is like an epidemic of. It seems like every time I open up Instagram or like I have these news stations, they'll throw up these headlines of female teachers sleeping with students.
Like high school?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
terrible.
super common.
That's terrible. That's
terrible.
It needs to be looked at as society as bad as the other version. It has to be. It's really disturbing.
It's crazy too because it seems so common these days.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Dude, there's been several cases. There was just one that popped like a week or two ago. This gal.
I mean, you gotta work those numbers into the entire numbers.
Well, working it like that, yeah, it's probably like a trillionth of a
but
percent.
It's terrible that it's happened to anyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Joining these 500 student searchers were various faculty members, many officers from the police, like Cersei Police Department and sheriff's departments, dozens of Cersei townsfolk, and even personnel from the Civil Air Patrol.
This is always these cases like this. Anytime I watch a show or we talk about one in here, like the person involved is out there with them, probably helping.
Yeah.
They have to be.
It happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
she's not over here.
If not, they're just like sitting on their porch watching people drive by. It's very eerie. That's my least favorite and my favorite part about true crime. That feeling of that, it's both bad and good.
Ted Bundy would show back up.
Yeah.
Like at the college campus where they're all looking. He's like, hey, what's going on?
That's a common.
Somebody disappeared.
They started doing that in profiling in the like 60s and 70s when they would say, oh, well, we're going to have an event at the graveyard for one of the victims. Mm-hmm. And then they would get a photographer and they would take thousands of photos.
Yep. And then they would check all the license plates
and stuff like that. And
That's the thing a lot of killers get off on is going back to the scene or pretending like they're helping to search or
Well, it's like this one thing I was listening to at one time. It was like the murderer has like a grieving process. Like if in under certain psychologies, they have like a part of them that feels bad, and then they feel bad for the family. Like they had. In some cases, they had an urge they couldn't control, so so you play on that. They played on that several times, in some of these cases.
Even the Green River Killer, Gary Ridgway, he bawled like a baby.
Yeah.
Like when they were doing the witness statements or whatever, or the victim statements, and the parents of some of these slain victims were talking to him.
Yeah,
he bawled like a baby. And I know we want to put serial killers or whoever in this box to where they're just monsters all the time, but it's cases. Even Jeffrey Dahmer would say that. He would try to control it. He knew he didn't want to, but then this urge would build up and he could no longer control it, and he would do these things. But he knew it was wrong and he would try to curb it. There are serial killers, some of them that have these long periods in between. We don't like to think of it this way, but they would commit the act, and once that rush was gone, they were left with just like, oh my God, what did I just do?
Yeah.
And they were mortified and they were full of remorse. But then that freaking demon came back. It may have taken weeks or months or years, but it crept, that whatever that evil thing was inside them.
Yeah.
And it took over, and they would have to do it again.
Came back in, almost like a demon in their brain or whatever.
Yeah, man.
What's interesting to me, though, is just the Sherlock Holmes component of, like, using that to try to catch them and exploiting that, as an investigator. That's cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're doing that, you're highbrow. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Even like this is fairly recent. The guy who killed Natalie Holloway, I don't remember, is this Nickel Vanderhooten or some weird name?
Yeah.
But the guy that killed Natalie Holloway,
I do remember something like that.
Yeah. It was a guy that like everyone kind of knew, and it was one of those cases where everyone suspected him anyway, but they really didn't have enough to nail him. But he like got saved and went into Christianity. This is from what I read, and if I'm wrong, someone correct me. But he confessed himself. It was like, I feel like I have to confess all my sins, and I did it. Like, he was the one that he went to the police and finally confessed. As far as I know, this guy's in jail now.
Yeah.
If he hadn't have confessed, it was like one of them deals. We've covered lots of cases like this on our podcast where it's one of them things where everyone knows pretty much this guy did it, but there's just not enough to nail him.
Yeah,
and that was the case with this guy.
Only way you're going to ever get closure is if they give you the closure.
Right.
Yeah.
And he did on this case. Yeah.
That's why a lot of killers are not executed. It's like, well, if we execute them, we'll never know.
I know right before they were executed Bundy, I keep going back to him, but that was one thing that bought him a lot of time is, let's keep him alive a little longer. Maybe he'll divulge a few more things to us and this and that. And I know they were talking to him a lot right up until his execution, but he was pretty much a big enough monster where they were like, you got to die either way.
Yeah.
I know you're going to take some secrets to the grave with you, and he played the game. Like Bundy, he looked at it as a game. He would hold those cards close to his chest, and he would divulge just enough to maybe get a little bit longer, Eventually, I think they got tired of playing the game with him. So.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So meanwhile, the police investigation into Ruby's whereabouts carried on. The Norge Laundorama attendant on the night Ruby vanished was a woman named Mrs. C.R. Reggie. So she was one of the first people police talked to. The following is what was learned from Miss Reggie as well as other fellow witnesses and is directly taken from the police file on Ruby's case. So I had the file. I found it.
Excellent.
These are witness statements verbatim taken from that file, okay?
Okay.
Here we go. This is Mrs. C.R. Reggie.
Okay, you've got to read this like Mrs. C.R. Reggie.
Oh, Jesus. What did she sound like?
I don't know. You tell us.
I don't know. Was she old? Was she young? What did C.R. stand for? Was
I don't know.
it Charlie
what do you
Ray?
Think? Young. Let's pick it, Sam. Young or old? What do you think?
C.R. Reggie.
I think
I'll just look.
I'm going to say middle-aged.
Middle-aged. Yeah, that way you can go any way with it.
Late 40s?
Yeah.
Like
C.R. Reggie?
initial C, initial R.
Yeah. Capital C dot capital R dot
And
R-E-G-G-I.
this was the attendant?
Yeah, she was the Laundorama attendant. I guess they had attendants back then that was like, you want me to freshen up your detergent? I don't know. What did they do?
No, I mean, there are people that drop clothes off and they do those clothes and they press for people. I mean, yeah,
Okay.
I mean, there's, I think that happened.
Okay.
Or does happen.
There was a lot more attending back in those days. Like
Yeah,
in
oh, yeah,
'63,
yeah.
when you pulled up to a gas station,
Yeah.
these guys and like matching uniforms came out and they filled your tank and
Yeah.
they checked your oil and they cleaned your windshield.
Yeah.
You know, and they were all like respectable looking and clean shaven, and they went back in. Isn't that wild? Like
It
my
is
wife and
wild.
I were talking about that just the other day. It's so weird. I know we're way more technologically advanced now. I know we're way more medically advanced, and we're like the shit. Oh, like this is the pinnacle of human civilization. But in the 40s and 50s, if a typical family like went to Sears or something, the dad wore a 3-piece suit and a hat and polished wingtip shoes. You know, he dressed like nicer than any of us ever have.
True.
And the woman wore like her fanciest dress and her, if I'm going to be driving the car, I better wear my driving gloves. Like it was all so proper and shit, you know? Like to go out in public. Nowadays, you go to Walmart, you see someone with like, you see some gal with pajama pants on that have a rip in the ass where you see her butt cheek and some nasty ass shit stained shirt that's too big. It's disgusting. And she's wearing house shoes that have shit all over them. No one gives a shit about their appearance anymore. Or no one, I'm serious.
You're
No
right.
one's respectable anymore. And I'm dirty all the time from doing stuff on the farm and doing stuff at work, but you can ask my wife. I can come in from the farm. I've just been out with my dad doing all kinds of stuff. I'm dirty. And she'll go, hey, can you run up to the store and grab some apple juice for the baby, right? She just ran out. Okay. I don't dress up in a 3-piece suit, but I go change my clothes. I put on a nice pair of clean pants and a clean shirt and my better shoes, not my farm shoes, and a different hat. I have a farm hat and a going to town hat, you know?
Town hat.
I at least want to look like respectable-ish.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's just some level.
I'm with you on that.
Doesn't it feel to you guys like there's been some level of just self-respect that's just been lost
The
at large?
Slavification of
Yes.
the world.
You can
well,
go,
of
anyone
America.
listening, you go to Walmart right now and you will see people dressed like, what
Just-
the hell are you doing?
It's laziness.
You just
It
don't
really is.
care. Yeah. It's just like some Tigger or Winnie the Pooh pajama set that's all saggy and ripped and just like, I can't even get into the. Did I mention this on the podcast the other day? I took my daughter to Walmart. I am not joking. If I've said this before, cut it out. But some girl walked past
Anything's
us.
possible at Walmart.
Anything's possible. Some girl walked past us in Walmart, and she had a shirt on, and I swear to everything holy, it said, I eat ass on this girl's shirt.
I believe it.
And I was like, sweet Lord
I believe
Almighty.
your story, and I believe that was probably true as well.
I was glad that my daughter couldn't read that yet.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what are you doing with your life? What the hell? Like, who goes out of their house with that shirt on? What has happened? And this is the old man in me just being like, the world has gone to hell. But I swear, man, what is going on? Why is that happening? Why is that acceptable? Why would any person leave their house with that shirt on?
Yeah, and there's not even that many calories in ass.
There's
You're doing that for nothing.
it's a low calorie
Oh,
exercise.
donkey must be a lean meat.
Oh, God in
No,
heaven.
well, I don't know. It's like eating horse.
Did it have a donkey silhouette on it? And the
You know,
word
it
in the
Did
middle?
just
Did it have
had
a
the
donkey?
words. God help us. I'm just like, and I'm, you know me.
Maybe it was like assorted, and on the back it said assorted fruits and vegetables.
No, man. It just,
Oh,
it is
it was
what
like
it is.
ASS ... and on the back it was ordered
No.
Yeah, ordered,
fruits and veggies.
assorted fruit roll-up varieties.
That reminds me. Can I tell a quick story?
Jolly Ranchers. Yes.
You just did.
I want to tell another one. This is, and I have photographic proof of this. Listen
You
to me.
just did.
I have photographic proof. Listen.
Go ahead.
I told
Tell
you.
another
I
one.
think I told you guys this.
we didn't stop the other one.
I'm all like,
he didn't
Hey,
ask. He didn't
Joe?
ask the first time.
You have the floor.
Yeah.
all right, listen to me. Listen to me. A few weeks ago,
Thank you for asking that time. Out of 309 episodes, he finally asked if he could tell a quick story.
can I ask? Can I please?
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes, just do it. It's going to be fine.
I mentioned a few episodes. I'm going to do it quickly. I mentioned a few episodes that I ordered a lift kit for our
Yes.
Pathfinder.
Yeah.
So after that, I discovered one of my shock strut assemblies was bad. So I ordered another one. Okay, this is going to go somewhere. I promise.
Yeah.
When this shows up, it shows that it was okay. It shows the shock strut assembly delivered by FedEx, and underneath it, it is what I assume is the delivery person's handle, and it's top notch ass.
You've already told us this.
I did?
Yeah, we got it in a text message.
Did I tell you
It
this?
stands for.
Oh, is
Have
that
I
what
said it on
is
the
that?
podcast?
Is that why I know?
No, don't ruin it. Did I say it on the podcast yet?
It was in a text message.
Right.
Yes.
It wasn't
Okay.
on the podcast.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
so there's more to it.
There's way more to it.
Okay.
Sorry, I jumped to conclusions.
So for a week and a half, I go off to everybody about how the world has gone to hell. You can't even get a part delivered to your house without looking at someone's name. FedEx.
I know the answer to this riddle,
I'm sure you do.
but go. I figured it out. When
I'm
you
just
sent the
like,
text.
what kind of delivery? Does FedEx know that their delivery people are out there with usernames like Top Notch Ass, right? And also, I kind of wanted to see what this person looked like. What do they look like? If you call
Yeah,
yourself Top Notch
bragger.
Ass,
Mr. Braggadocious.
I kind of thought it'd be funny if it was just like a 400-pound big old dude, you know, like Top Notch Ass. This is hilarious. So after a week and a half of ranting about this, I look at the receipt, right?
Yeah.
And I see the maker of the shock strut assembly was Top Notch, and it's an assembly.
Yeah.
So it was Top Notch assembly, but it didn't have the full. So it was Top Notch ASS dot.
That's great.
So there was never any FedEx delivery person named Top Notch Ass. I blew up about America going to
Show
hell.
some professionalism.
My dad was even like, "You should call FedEx.
Yeah.
You should report that."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I should." No, it was
You
just.
send Top Notch back out here. I've got a word or two for them.
I want to see this Top Notch ass. It never was anything. It was just the freaking name of the product.
I know. I figured that out when you sent the text, but I didn't write anything back. 'Cause I figured you'd get it. But
I
it
even
took you-
ran into you guys. Yes.
I know. I should have.
I sent these guys a screenshot, and I went to my market. I circled Top Notch ass, and I was like, "Can you believe this shit? I'm over it."
I was thinking that's assembly. I know that's what that is. He ordered some kind of assembly.
Then I get the product, and I'm like, "Top Notch, huh? Oh, Top Notch assembly.
What a coincidence!
Oh. What a coinkydink."
That's funny.
So yeah, that was at least one of those cases where I was like, "Oh, okay, it's not as bad as I thought. It's just the product."
Oh, I eat assembly. I don't know.
That's
that
what
makes
her shirt said. I should have read the back.
I don't know what it could fit.
So back to Miss C.R. Reggie, what we were talking about 20 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, so she's middle aged.
She's middle
And
aged.
she's really deep south. Really deep south.
I'd like to imagine that she's got a fupa. She's had
What?
several kids.
Oh,
Like, you know, the front butt, like the fupa.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was. I
Yeah.
thought it was kind of like a couch, like a futon. That's what I thought you meant.
You
Like,
could lay
what's
on
that
it,
to
I
do with
guess.
her futon at home. Okay, we're ready. We want to hear her recorded eyewitness testimony that we happen to have through the magic of
Okay.
Dawn of Mantis research.
Shout out to whoever knows what a fupa is. Okay.
I'm learning more every day. I said I learned from you.
Okay. Here we go. Ready? This is from the report. So it's not all. Some of it's police jargon and some of it is her actual words.
Excellent.
From the report, the victim entered the structure and placed her soiled clothing contained in baskets on the floor. I don't like how they worded that because they weren't shat in or anything. They were just gently worn.
Yeah.
She, in parentheses, Ruby, engaged the attendant, Mrs. Reggie, in brief conversation, then walked next door to Harrison's Grocery, where she purchased a container of whisk. She went and bought the whisk. It's whisk or nothing.
Yeah, if it's got to be clean, it's got to be whisk.
There we go. TM, trademark. If whisk is still around, we want our money. Because we're...
Actually, that's Tides.
Oh, is it? Sorry.
But anyway, I stole it.
But Ruby originally in the car told Charlotte, title work. But you know what? When she got to the Laundorama, she's like, it's whisk or nothing, baby.
He's like, no, it's not going to work.
It's whisk or nothing. So she goes next door to Harrison's Grocery, buys the whisk. She returns to the Laundorama. So this is as I'm reading. The victim then began to wash her clothing and was so engaged when the attendant and her husband, an employee of Harrison's Grocery, closed the grocery and left the victim in the Laundorama alone around 10:10 p.m.
Okay.
That's important. James William, operator of the Cersei roller rink, closed his business at 10, and that was on October 8th, 1963. We know that, guys. And left the rink about 10:30. He drove the 3 miles distance to the area of abduction, and as he passed the Norge Laundorama between 10:30 and 10:40, he observed an unidentified woman alone in the laundroma, apparently engaged in washing clothing. So in other words, this guy saw Ruby between 10:30 and 10:40.
Okay.
He drives by the laundroma, the whole front of his windows glass. He sees her in there washing clothes. Jack Gardner, employee at Porter Rogers Farms, had washed his clothing earlier on the day of October 8th and left the clothing in the laundromat. At 10:55 p.m. on the same date, Gardner returned to the laundromat to pick up his clothing. He observed a white Comet station wagon parked in front of the building and noticed a basket of clothing which appeared to have been a completed wash on the floor of the laundroma and in front of the dryer. He also noticed the door of this dryer was open and it was partially filled with clothing. He observed no person in or around the laundroma. I said it like that because it's important.
Are these your closing remarks? No person.
I should be an attorney.
That's where you look right at the jury and you lock eyes with them.
No person. At 10:55, he drove by and saw no one. Okay?
Gotcha.
But her car's still there, laundry's still there, dryer's open. It's as if she vaporized into thin air.
Objection! Vaporization is not possible, Your Honor.
All right. Objection sustained. Continue on.
Clean it up.
Based on the accounts given by the witnesses, police this is not in the testimony anymore. This is Joey. This is what I wrote. Based on the accounts given by witnesses, police narrowed down the time in which Ruby was abducted to somewhere between the time she was last seen by James William and the time Jack Gardner returned to pick up his wash to find the laundry empty. In other words, between 10:40 and 10:55 p.m. 15 minutes.
Gotcha.
15 minutes.
There's that 15 minutes you've been teasing about.
That's right. 15 minutes doesn't sound like a long time, does it?
Well, if you had to sit here 15 minutes and say nothing, that
That's
would
right.
feel like a long time.
That's right.
Even
Sometimes
5 minutes.
There you go. Sometimes
A lot
15
of
minutes
stuff
is
can
nothing.
happen.
Like if you're at work, 15 minutes just flies by.
I mean, a 30-minute sitcom is like, what, 22 minutes?
Yeah, minus commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then 15 minutes in that regard flies by.
So think of all the shenanigans Sheldon and his buddies got into
There you
in
go, yeah.
22 minutes.
In
That's a long
22 minutes.
time.
That's you're sitting in my spot. It's a perfect area between the cross breeze between two windows.
That's right.
That 15 minutes goes by quickly, you know. But if you're making love for 15 minutes, you're like, hey, you're welcome. 15 minutes, you know. I'll take my trophy now. All I'm saying is 15 minutes has different meanings in different
Objection!
in different areas. So, Marie Claire,
That's nothing to do with the case, Your Honor.
he's just bragging about his sex life, Your Honor. Objection.
He's lying, Your Honor. Perjury.
Attorney Marathon Man is lying. Marie Claire and Clarita had returned with some further information they thought may be helpful. In the days before Ruby's abduction, she had begun to act a little different, almost paranoid.
Uh-oh.
She would lean by the window and peer out of the curtains for long stretches of time, sometimes for hours or more, something she never did before.
But she didn't let the other person go with her.
No, she didn't.
Interesting.
Yeah. I thought the same thing. They talk about how paranoid she was, but I'm like, she's going to a laundromat at 11 p.m. by herself. You know?
Maybe she thinks, well, though,
You know?
maybe she's been before and there's always other people there.
Yeah, true. Like it's a safe place.
Yeah.
A safe spot, as they would say in these days.
Yeah.
She was also said to have not acted quite as relaxed as she usually was, again, as if something was on her mind or had her worried. But if there really was anything wrong, she apparently shared it with no one. Still, as the investigation wore on, certain things came to light that suggested Ruby may have had good reason to be concerned. Both Marie Claire and Clarita stated that in the days prior, as well as the very day Ruby vanished, they saw a large black sedan cruising back and forth past the house. What the hell's that about? Right?
Yeah.
I was trying to engage you on
Intriguing.
that. A
Yeah,
neighbor
yeah.
later reported seeing a black sedan idling with its lights off behind Ruby's house a couple days before she disappeared.
There's always things like this in these cases, it seems like. And you never know whether to be like, are they just remembering another time when they were there and they didn't? Because I have trouble, like, if someone's like, how many days ago did that happen? I'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, how long do you think? A few weeks,
Yeah. You
a
know.
month. You know,
Yeah.
when it gets in everyday stuff. I'm not saying they're lying, but I'm just saying it seems like we always have stuff like this.
I can be telling a story that, the other day this thing happened, and my wife will be like, that was August of 1999.
Yeah. That was the year
It was
after you
not the other
graduated
day.
high school.
Yeah, I don't know why my wife
Oh,
is
the other
French
day.
Russia, but yeah. The other day is infinite for me.
Sure.
The other day could be all the way back to 1987. I don't know. It was just the other day.
Yeah. I would just hope that, I don't know. They want anything that you can think of. So if you think that might have happened, I'm sure they would we'd have to talk to Steve about it. But
Yeah.
I'm sure it's something for the notes for them to look at.
The black sedan is like the official car of the shady person.
I mean, either that or a white van. It's white or black.
Don't matter
Right?
if you're black or white. Yeah, it's either a white
or
windowless
black
van.
sedan. You're right. Yeah, both creepy.
Yeah. White.
Yeah.
So,
Go
which is
with like a
creepier? A
beige.
white windowless van or a black sedan with like two dudes in suits in it?
Yeah,
Right? I don't know.
Yeah,
They're
one's
both scary.
highbrow, one's lowbrow.
I guess
Both
it depends
bad.
on whether you're 10 or 40.
That's true.
If you're 40, the white van guys are probably not interested,
That's true.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, the police spoke with Marie Claire, Glenn Dewey, and Clarita to get an exact account of when Ruby was there and what she had been wearing at the time of her disappearance.
Okay.
The following is another excerpt from the original police report. Ready?
Ready.
The victim's two children and her niece, Clarita Bartley, described the victim's dress as follows. I don't even know why this all matters. Do I need to get into all what she was wearing? Does it matter?
It's in your notes.
At
so
this
it must
point,
matter.
okay. Made of thin cotton material, white background, and irregular shape, black figures with form and irregular check design. That was her dress. It was fitted with a straight skirt and belt of matching material. She was wearing shoes described as black flats, pointed toe, and worn in appearance described as about a size 6.
It does matter because there's somebody on the road right now listening to this case, and we're painting pictures in their mind. So that person's like, okay, yeah, I feel a little bit more connected with this case. And it also, that's like 2 miles they just drove while you were talking about that.
You
If they're
just
going like 75.
You just described my dad.
Yeah, there you go. See?
So, yeah, this is for you.
Yeah. So
This is for
don't
you.
ever doubt yourself writing that stuff in the notes. It paints the picture on the canvas of our minds.
I love how you put that.
Thank you.
I've done that many times. I'll put stuff in the notes, and then in the studio as we're reading them, I'm just like, Jesus Lord, this is repetitive. This is not.
No.
All right, so
Don't you change a thing.
don't go changing just to please me. Her underclothing. Hello. Let's get into her underclothing.
Well, what? Okay. Go, I guess.
I'm not Joe. This is what they put in. It consisted of full slip, bra, panty girdle, and brief type panty.
Okay.
All right? Nothing? I'm going to push you guys on this.
No, that's not relevant.
What if I was like, consisted of pink lace thong? Like, good Lord, woman. What were you up to? No, it was just that. She was a
Okay.
respectable Christian lady. God
Sure.
dang it.
Exactly.
Right?
This was
Exactly.
also, what, 1963?
Hey, man, ladies wore lingerie in 63, man. They got freaky in 63, Sam. I guarantee they did. Okay? You think we invented that? You think they didn't get freaky until spring break, Florida, in 2004? No! They were freaky a long time ago. All right.
Who put the bob in the bob? How'd that song go?
I'm not, yeah. Okay, the 50s were all bubblegum and poodle skirts and milkshakes and all the sweet stuff. But then what did teenagers do after that? They drove out to Lover's Leap and they got down
Lover's
with it.
Leap.
They got nasty.
We're just going to stereotype every decade to today.
Okay. I'm telling you, let's not be naive enough to think that they weren't parked out in that 57 Chevy at, Makeout Point or whatever, just bouncing them springs.
That's what they did in American Graffiti.
Damn right they did. See? So, yeah, we didn't invent that.
Also ripped a axle off of a...
Yeah, they
police car.
did.
Yes,
That's
they
pretty
did
cool.
with that cable.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
They had trouble replicating that in Mythbusters. though.
Oh, they tried to replicate
Yeah.
that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did
They
it not
tried.
just jerk the entire rear
They
end?
had to almost take every bolt off
Yeah.
to where it would.
So it
Yeah.
wouldn't have worked.
No.
Did it just pull? Did it just stop
It just
the car?
stopped, I think.
Wow.
I'll have to
Either
rewatch
that or
that
I think it
episode.
broke the cable.
I'll rewatch
think-
that episode and do an update.
I-
Or I'll
Please
Google
do.
it.
You know
One or
those
the
car,
other. I'll Google
those
it.
car myths.
That'd be faster.
There was one where they shot out a thing out of the door and it went to a pole and then they went around a corner really fast.
That's a Batman thing.
Yeah. They could not find a cable. that would withstand that amount
The
of
The
weight,
amount of G's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would
there's-
just break even like this. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going at like 60 or 70 miles an hour. It's like that's a ton of force on that.
I just got to say, going back to my original point, rest in peace, Jamie Kirby. He was a friend of mine, and he told me a long time ago, I can't say exactly what he said, but he said every generation thinks they invented screwing, but they didn't. He was around a long time before you, buddy.
cabling.
Yep. So anyway, rest in peace, Jamie. So let's get past her underclothing. You guys are disgusting for going into that. I had no part of that.
I feel ashamed.
She wore no jewelry except possible plain black earrings and was carrying a plain black plastic purse finished to look like very soft grain leather.
Okay.
The purse was about 12 inches long, 5 inches in height, and was a clutch type with a silver finish snap. I'm not going to go over the purse. Let's skip that. As for Ruby's physical description, she was of average height, fairly slim, and had coal black hair, always pinned up. As we said before, her skin was a bit darker, and she had deep brown eyes. I'll say this. She was 59, but if you look up a picture of her, like Ruby was always gorgeous. When you look up Ruby Stapleton, I don't know how many pictures are on the internet. I bought a couple of books about her case. We'll get into that. That was a very important piece of source material for this research. Was this book, and I'll plug the book and stuff later. I promise. It was written by a relative.
That's a Facebook group. Is
Okay.
that dedicated to her?
We'll try to find some pictures because Ruby was a beautiful woman. She was like astonishing when she was real young. But even at 59, she had naturally coal black hair. Like she didn't have a single gray hair yet.
Wow.
And she was a very put together lady, like just a respectable looking lady, very pretty throughout her life. So
We'll have to.
I'll post
how many
pictures
people
of
are
it.
following that thing, Sam?
There's quite a few. I'm on
202 members.
202. Well, never mind. There's not that many.
Well,
One of those
still.
is me, though. I followed doing this research.
We'll post an episode link on it.
Yeah. Well, the fact that someone had been abducted from a laundromat in Little Searcy, Arkansas was astonishing on its own. But even more perplexing was the victim. Who in God's name would want to kidnap or harm a straight-laced female professor from a Christian college in a small town? Right?
Shut.
Who would want to harm Ruby Stapleton? Well, it turns out that there was at least 2 men out there who had definitely wanted to harm Ruby.
Okay.
I'm going to blow y'all's minds. This is something I've been holding in my back pocket. You ready?
Yeah.
In early September of 63, so the month previous, there had been an incident. Ruby came home one day after work, and while she was preparing supper, 2 men burst out of her closet and attacked her. Using a rolling pin, she was able to fight them off long enough to flee the house
Wow.
and run to the nearby campus for help. Yeah. Although she returned to her home with some faculty members and police just minutes later, the men were gone and were never captured or even identified. So some shit was going down even before. Who the hell has 2 dudes pop out of your closet and attack you?
That's a pretty big development, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah. So something was up, man. That doesn't just happen, I don't think.
No.
Was it a simple case of a robbery gone wrong? Was something larger at play? I'm going to go with the second one, but only because I know the end of the story.
You have an advantage.
A tip came in from Searcy local. I'm going to start that over. A tip came in from a Searcy local saying he had met Ruby on the road earlier of the day of her disappearance. He said she was at a stop sign and appeared to be very upset over something. What had happened to cause this reaction, and did it have anything to do with her disappearance? Ruby was reportedly acting totally normal while visiting her son and his family later that evening, so we may never know what she was upset about earlier that day. As the police dug deeper into Ruby's personal life, suspicions would be raised, and although nothing was found to imply that she had any nefarious dealings, the same could not be said for her estranged husband, Ray. Remember what I said about Ray?
Yeah.
He's a weird dude that was into a lot of weird shit. And we're going to get into that on the next episode.
All right.
Yeah, we'll meet Ray and get to know that guy and what possible role he may have had to play in this.
Yeah. That was a lot for just one episode.
That was a lot, dude. Yeah, this was a lot. I probably could have made 4 or 5 episodes of it, but I crammed it into a three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good find. It's really interesting. It's pretty close, and I don't know. I kind of like the old ones. I like the old.
I do too. We have a little more
Yeah,
leeway.
that, and they don't. they don't stick. You can have just a little bit more fun, and they don't stick with you like some of the more recent tragedies that you found lately. You know,
Yeah, especially recent local
I know,
tragedies.
I know exactly.
Like well, we did one a couple episodes ago where I was like, oh man, this guy lives like 10 miles from us.
Yeah,
I hope
just the
he
nature-
takes it well.
just the nature of what happened. Wow. Yeah.
So anyway, that's
good one.
part 1 of Ruby Stapleton. We got 2 more parts. Thank you guys for listening once more.
Yeah.
And we love you all, Pod.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're in the Northwest Arkansas area, go to Urban Fringe to get your hair did.
Farmington, Arkansas.
Farmington, Arkansas. Those gals are amazing, and they're very nice, and they're very skilled at what they do. We appreciate you.
Yep.
All right. Good night. We'll see you on the next one.